Hi guys, if you clicked on this video, you probably are wondering what mess I got myself into applying to NYU twice and how I got into NYU twice. It's a long story, so if you're interested, sit back, relax, and listen to this mess. But you probably also want to get into NYU if you're watching this, so if you're interested in that part, I'm definitely gonna be explaining more of my logistical side of my application later on in the video after the story aspect of how I got in NYU twice. So this is gonna start off in senior year of my high school. I was a first generation student. I am a first generation student. So that's kind of how it led to this debacle of me and this mess and everything, because I was pretty much clueless starting my application since the start, because I didn't have a guide necessarily. I think I went to a fairly big school. I guess it depends on like your definition of a big school. I had 1,700 kids in my school, so my counselor probably had like 300 in total. So to me, that's a bigger school. I didn't have time to go face to face to my counselor. But I didn't have that guide in general. So that's probably why I made a lot of mistakes along the way. So if you're watching and you're a first generation student, maybe you can learn from my really dumb mistakes for all your college applications. So I'm gonna start off how I really got interested in NYU. For me, I always wanted to live in New York City. I've always wanted to escape my rinky-dinky town. I say rinky-dinky like I live in the middle of nowhere, but I live in Las Vegas. I lived my entire life in Las Vegas, so I'm sick and tired of it. I just wanted to go to New York because I'm the main character of my life. No, I just wanted an escape. So I was looking up New York schools my sophomore year, and I saw Columbia first, and I was like, Columbia, here I come. And then I saw the acceptance rates, and I was like, never mind. NYU, here I come, because I was the second one on the list. So I chose to apply to NYU. That was pretty much the only school I really wanted to go to. I saw other New York schools, but I was like, NYU, that's the love of my life. So sophomore year is generally when I started kind of gearing towards NYU. I just to preface also, I came from a magnet high school. That's public, obviously. So it's an arts high school, and I was a film major. So my choice as a major to apply to NYU was film, because I was like, film and film equals film. And I was like, I don't really know what I want to do, but I'm just going to apply as a film major, because I was at the time, I was like, everyone else in my class is doing it. I'm just going to go for film then. And I had decided, stupidly enough, to actually work on my application 2 weeks before the actual deadline. So I wanted to apply early decision 2, and that's due January 1st at the time. And keep in mind, this was the year of 2017 going to 2018. That was my senior year of high school. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna apply. I have time in winter break. I need to focus on school and everything. If you're thinking to apply, please start earlier. God, please start earlier. But I did have my Common App essay done beforehand, because my teacher made it an assignment, so I had that done out of the way. I just had to work on the other aspects of my application. So with the YNYU essay, all of my activities put in Common App and all that junk. Also the film aspect of my application, because there is a little bit more of a resume and art aspect of your application that kind of you need to get done in a good way and not just throw it all together like I kind of did. Oops. So I had my set sight on being a film major. So I was working on it 2 weeks beforehand, and I had my ACT done beforehand, of course, because duh. But I actually, I'll go over the ACT part again, but to make it brief, I took the ACT all together with my junior year class, because our school made us, and I scored a 21. Yay, boo, 21. 21 is the national average, so it's okay. I didn't like that score, obviously, so I wanted to try again. I tried again and actually got, that's later on in the school year. I think I took the test again in September. I think they offer a test in September. It was the latter end of 2017. So I took it again and I got a 2-point boost, which was a 23. Didn't think that was good enough still, because a 23 is... So I took it again, like, I think either... I don't remember. I think it was either November or December. And that was the absolute last test I took, because I couldn't apply... I couldn't take the ACT after I applied because I couldn't turn that in. So I got a 25 at that point. So at that point, my high school year, I was going to submit a 25 as my ACT score. And I was like, okay, it's fine. It's whatever. You know, I'm not applying to be a computer science major like a dork. I'm just kidding. Film is pretty dorky, so I don't know who am I to talk, you know. But anyways, I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this in. So I like crappily wrote my essays. I'll read my essays later, but I put it all together and I was like, sweet, I'm gonna turn this in. Everything's gonna be great. So I had that turned in. I had my letters of rec. I had my film teacher do a letter of rec. But I had everything turned in on January 1st. Okay, so moving on from that, my other mistake I made was that I applied to the wrong CSS profile year, and I didn't realize it because I was like checking down my list and whatever, and then I realized like, oh my god, I applied to the wrong year. My financial aid is gonna be like crazy messed up because I only had my FAFSA turned in the right time, and I was like literally crying about it because I was like, oh my god, like I messed up. Like NYU is like a cheapskate basically. They're gonna give me like $3 and I'm gonna have to like fend for myself. So I was freaking out because I turned in the wrong year. So I went ahead and like resubmitted the right year. I just didn't know if I like made the cut necessarily at that point. As a first generation student, that was really important to me because, you know, as most first generation students come from a lower income background, and that happened to apply to me. But at the time, me being a dum-dum, I was like, okay, you know what? Everything's gonna be great. Like, I'm fine. You know, I'm gonna suddenly win the lottery and everything's good. So, another note I made about my application my senior year of high school was that I applied to the multiple NYU campuses. So they let you apply to NYU New York, NYU Shanghai, and NYU Abu Dhabi if you're interested. So I went ahead and clicked all three because I was like, NYU's NYU, I don't care. So I actually, like before my early decisions results came out, someone actually emailed me from NYU and was like, hey, we saw that you're actually interested in NYU Shanghai. We just want to get some like little insight on why you would be interested in NYU Shanghai and how it would benefit you. And I was like, cool, interesting. You were like hitting on me? No, I'm just kidding. They were definitely not. Please don't rescind me, NYU. But I was like, okay. So I typed up this whole thing about like why I was interested in NYU Shanghai, and I'll get to read it later for you guys on what I replied to as an email. At that point, I was like, are they like really interested in me going to NYU Shanghai? But at the time, I didn't think much of it because I was like, I don't know, maybe they're just doing that to see like if I'm actually interested or if they do that to a lot of kids. So I went ahead and sent my response in. Didn't think about it. February 15th rolls around, and that's when like the early decision results were coming out. At that point, I wasn't like feeling too bad if I didn't get in just because of my stats at the time. I was like, I don't know if I like really genuinely like match the stats or whatever. And I'll get to my stats later if you're curious what it is. But I was like, okay, maybe I can like, you know, get in and everything will be great. So I had NYU Albert, my application portal up for the longest time. And my sister was like, dude, what are you waiting for? Just check it. Like, she was like, just check it. Like, check it. And I was like, no. She's like, then I'll do it. I was like, no. I need to be the one to do it. Like, I'm the main character here, lady. I'm just kidding. So I was like, you know what? Forget it. Like, if I don't get in, I don't get in. Like, is that the end of the world? Yes. Am I gonna cry? Yes. No. But I was like, you know, whatever, I'm gonna click on it. So I click on it and I look at it for a little bit and I was like confused because the only thing on there was like, it was like a line that said NYU Shanghai. And then it's like view admission decision. And I was like, why doesn't it say it for NYU New York or NYU Abu Dhabi? So I was like, okay. So I click on it and it says like view admission decision. So I click on it and it says, congratulations, you have been admitted to the class of 2022 NYU Shanghai. And I was like, NYU Shanghai. What? Like, I didn't even put that much thought into it because I was so invested in like NYU New York and I had to get into film or whatever. But I didn't, at that time I was like, I had to get into film because I don't know what else I want to do with my life. But I was like, NYU Shanghai, and I kind of went through this range of emotions because I was like, do I want to move like out of the country? And I was like, yeah, like that is like the most like main character thing to do. But I was like, do I? And I was like, yeah, I do. I think that's really cool. And then I got really psyched for it because I was like, that's actually like a really cool opportunity, like to kind of branch out and be comfortable with the fact that like you can like move to a different country and like learn and assimilate and like, I don't know, like really branch out there. And at the time I was also interested in international relations, so I thought that would be a really good opportunity for me. And I told everyone, and everyone's like, to my knowledge, at that year, there was only one other person from Las Vegas who got into NYU Shanghai. And I know that because of the Facebook group. I didn't know the stats at the time. I didn't know like the acceptance rate at the time. So to me, I didn't have anything to compare it to. At the time, I had a $25,000 scholarship to go to NYU Shanghai. And to me, that only covered about 1/3 of my actual tuition. So I wasn't too sure. I could still back out of it because I was poor enough. So I wasn't too sure. So I was like, I need some guidance in my life. I'm gonna go to my guidance counselor, aka God. No, I'm just kidding. So I went to my counselor, and don't get me wrong, I love him. He was a great counselor and everything, but I don't think I would have given the same advice. I'm just saying, I don't think I would have. But I went up to him and I was like, hey, so I got into NYU Shanghai. He's like, wow, that's great. Like, you got into NYU Shanghai. That's really cool. I never even like heard of it. I know they had NYU, but I didn't know they had like this campus. I'm like, yeah, it's great and everything. I would have to pay a lot out of, pocket. And I was like, what do you think I should do? Like, do you think I should go, or what would you recommend? He's like, just go. And I was like, you're right. I am gonna go. Absolutely. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what we were thinking. It's like, it was just, I don't know. It's like the impulses like overtook us, and I don't know if that was a smart decision because I wouldn't have ended up with this story time, but I was like, yeah, right. So I went home not too long after, like, and I was like, time to submit my $500 deposit. And that was like my heart, like having to pay that literally made me want to throw up everywhere. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and submit my deposit. And I have like a mini vlog of me doing it, and I like, it was like so dorky.
Bruh, I look like a Teletubby. Here I am. And my okay, let's just do the enrollment deposit only. Yeah, okay. Wait, what?
You did it wrong.
What'd I do?
You did it wrong.
Oh. I have to put the entire thing again? Okay.
Buy yourself something nice to eat, girlies. We're on a roller coaster.
Okay. It's gonna log in to my Naviance. Okay. Colleges I'm applying to. That means I have to withdraw all my applications.
Foster, I'm not going to lunch with you. Foster,
Okay.
what are you doing for your lunch anymore?
But I went ahead and submitted my deposit to go to NYU Shanghai. At that time, it was due March 1st, so that I was confirmed March 1st to go to NYU Shanghai. And then a couple months like later, my senior year, I was like, I don't know. I'm not too sure if I want to move to China that quickly. Like, all of a sudden, I'm just gonna go ahead and move out of the country. I don't know a lot of Chinese. I don't know a lot of Mandarin at all. I probably would die out there because I can't order food. I don't have a lot of money to go there. Kind of dumb of me. I can't get a job there because of visa restrictions, student visa restrictions. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I just wasn't mentally ready. Like, a 17-year-old, like, just moving to China from America, like, I don't know if that would have been the right choice for me. So I was like, I do want to go. Don't get me wrong. I did want to go so bad. But I didn't know if I wanted to go like 3 months later. Doesn't make sense? So I was like, okay. So I went ahead and I was like, I'm going to take a gap year. I'm going to take a gap year and I'll be good to go. So I submitted my gap year application, I think around May of my senior year. And I was like, hey, and I listed out all the things I was going to do in my gap year. So like get a job, get mentally well, learn Chinese a little bit, make money, grind, never stop that grind. So I went ahead and I submitted that and I got approved like not even a week later. Gap year, here I come. So I took that gap year and I ran with it. So I got a job and everything. Everything's going good. I'm living my best life. Of course, this is a movie. This is a movie. Nothing ever goes well in a movie. I am like the star of like the worst movie on earth, like the most depressing movie you can think of because everything just suddenly went wrong. That's what you get for having main character syndrome. Funny enough, April 1st rolls around and that's so funny, huh? Thinking back to it, it wasn't funny, but now it is. My house gets robbed. And that kind of ruined everything because everything was like basically stolen from me. My camera, I had bought it a week before, which broke my heart because I was like so ready to use that camera and like document my life in China, like a vlogger or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, like, that's fine. My computer was stolen. My computer with like literally all my information on it was stolen. And I was like, great. If somebody wants to open a credit card on my name, go ahead, feel free. It's all yours. If someone wants to make a Tinder profile with all my pictures on them, you have it. So I was like, okay, great. Like everything's fine. Everything's great. Mentally, I was unwell at that time. I just didn't feel safe in my house, obviously. So I was like, everything's gonna be fine. I'm moving to China soon. I don't have to think about this ever again. But I basically don't have anything anymore. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna live my best life in a different country, and I never have to see this stupid house ever again. No, I'm just kidding. But at the time, it was like kind of like crazy, and I had to like help my parents like file all these different insurance claims, and I did not like that at all. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. Like not even a month later, everything's going wrong at this point. I had this orange slip of paper on my door. And my parents didn't understand what it was. They're like, I don't know what this is. Like, here, read it. I was like, okay. So I went ahead and read it, and it said court summons on it. And I was like, are you, what, me? It wasn't just me, it was my whole family. So I was like, us? What are we getting to court for? Is it because we're immigrants? No. Anyways, I was like, okay, cool. So it turns out like this whole debt relief thing that my parents were trying to do because they had debt. Being poor isn't fun. Everything stinks when you're poor. But the whole thing with that was they were doing the debt relief thing and something didn't work out between one of the banks. So the money that was being put in the debt relief thing wasn't paying the banks. So they thought we were just skimping out on them. Thus, we had big banks literally suing us. And I was like, okay, great. So obviously, like, my parents' credit score fell. At the time, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was like, okay, like, that's fine. That's, like, not my problem or anything. Like, y'all do you, but it's not my thing. So dumb. But at the time, I was like, okay, you know what? I just want to, like, get away. Like, I just want to, like, literally, like, all the influencers who, travel during the pandemic. Like, I just want to, like, get away and, like, take a break from the world. Like, that was me. Like, it was, like, a crisis in the house. And I'm like, I'm just going to go away now. And, like, I just want to, like, give you guys, like, good vibes from, like, far away or whatever. But anyways, I was, like, so stressed about that. But at the time, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. So I was like, whatever. Cool. So July rolls around. I needed to get a loan for whatever was remaining for my NYU tuition. And I don't recommend this for people at all. Like, if you cannot take out loans, if you can go to cheaper school, just do it. Like, don't fall for like my dream school like thing, because they just want to rob you of your money, just like everyone robbed me. I'm just kidding. So I went ahead and I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply to loans. Loan babe. Cool. So I went ahead and I applied to loans, and with the loans, I applied for the Parent Plus loan under my mom's name. And here's when this is fast forward, praying on my downfall. Literally praying on my downfall, because I applied and literally like seconds later I got rejected, and I was like, good, okay, cool. Literally like one of the easier loans to get, and I get rejected. Okay, cool, that's fine. And at that time I wasn't putting two and two together. Like my parents were getting sued, and I was like, that has nothing to do with me. Yes, it does, because you're using their credit. And I didn't have a credit score. I was 18. I just got out of high school. So, woof. Like it was like too much. So I was like, whatever. This is just like a little like a bump on the road. I'll be fine. And you are not going to be fine. Like this is like the worst time of your life. So I went ahead and I applied to different loans. All of them are private. Do not do that. That can really mess up your score, because every time you apply to a new loan, they do a hard credit pull. I didn't know that. I literally a like bimbo. Like, besides like the hot part, like I just had the dumb part. And okay, so just a dumb person basically. But I was like, okay, that's cool, whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and apply every single night until I get accepted at one. And I'd have like, usually like all of them would reject me like from the get-go, and like one of them like left me hanging, and they're like, okay, we might give you a loan. And I was like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna get a loan. It got rejected like a day later, and I was like, every night, to the point like I was crying basically like every night, because I couldn't like get a loan. Of course, at the time I was like, my dream is like slipping from me, and I was like, it was too intense. But I was like, there's no way I'm gonna go to school. Like, I'm trying so hard. I want to get away from all this mess. Like, I can't do this. But thank goodness, like, all of them rejected me, because God knows, like, how terrible things would have gone if I actually had taken out a loan and I actually got approved. So at the time, after I applied to like literally every loan on earth, even the ones that's like bad credit, we accept bad credit. Like, even those didn't accept anything, because obviously since my parents were being sued, their credit was like down, literally down on the trenches and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. I emailed NYU probably like 25 times. I'm not surprised if they blacklisted my email, because they're like, damn, like, this girl annoying. But I was literally pretty desperate, and I was like, hey, NYU, I literally got rejected to literally like all of them. Is there anything I could do? And they're like, let me ask the audience. No. Okay. They're like, maybe this isn't like a good time for you to like come to NYU, you poor. And I was like, okay. I accepted my fate at that point, because I was like, I kind of had it coming, but of course I was like super depressed. Literally 2019 was not my year. Literally everything bad that ever happened that year. So I was like, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and ask them for a spot of the next year, so I'd have like a second gap year. I was like, cool, since I can't come this year and all of this just suddenly happened and I wasn't planning on this to happen, can I take another gap year and save my spot for next year? And they're like, let me think about that. No. Bye. So I, of course, was devastated, and I literally like bawled my eyes out. I didn't want to check my emails at the time, because like emails meant bad news at the time, and I was like, okay, like my life is ruined. I'm gonna go ahead and cry real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, and then I came back. I took a nap after I cried, and I was like, I got up that time, and it was August at this point, literally like a week before I was supposed to fly out to Shanghai, and I had my visa and everything. I was so prepared. But obviously I didn't go. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and open up a Common App account and try again. So that's exactly what I did. I tried again. And this time I had like another forced gap year on me because I didn't have a choice. I mean, I could have gone to community college, but I wanted to see if I could get into any other schools. And at that time, Barnard was my number one. So I applied to Barnard, but I didn't get in because I didn't get in. And so after I didn't get into Barnard, I was like, NYU, I'm gonna try you again, and let's see if I can actually like get in again. Because at that, like the first time I tried NYU, like 2018 results, like the acceptance rate was 19%, and it was just only getting lower. So I was like, let me see if I actually get in. So I didn't want to do film. I was like, I don't want to do film. I still didn't figure out what I wanted to do in my gap year. And even though I was like, that was my goal, I didn't figure that out. So I was like, I need more time. This girl always need more time. Embarrassing. But I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try, to look up different majors at NYU. So I went ahead and I was stuck between two. I was stuck between Gallatin and LS, liberal studies. So I was like, okay, Gallatin, you make your own major, or liberal studies, they give you like 2 years to kind of like have this all-encompass studies like in 2 years, in like a 2-year program, and then transfer into a major. So I was like, I'm gonna do that because I really like needed the time, and I kind of liked that concept. So my camera actually stopped recording like the latter end of me talking about everything else in general. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys see like the representations of how I was feeling during that time while I'm talking. I did record the audio. NYU heard me and they were like, let me just like delete real quick. So yeah, okay, cool. Yes, here I come. So I applied as a liberal studies major. This time I had more stuff under my belt in like my common activities aspect. I had obviously a job and all of that, and I'll get to that later in my more logistical part of my application. But I had a lot more this time, and I did retake the ACT one more time before I applied, and I took the ACT during my gap year, my forced gap year, and I got a one more point. I got a 26. So this time I applied with a 26 instead of a 25 I did my senior year. So I was like, cool, like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of the ACT. Like, they never gave me time. Like, you want to sneeze? Too bad. Like, you're gonna have to sneeze into your book. Okay, too bad. And I had a Hannah Montana song like stuck in my head the entire time, and I was literally like on the verge of tears because I was like, it's literally not going on my head. It was so frustrating, but I got a 26 and I was like, I'm sick and tired of that. I'm sick and tired of that girl right there. Like, I'm sick and tired of her. You rewrote my Common App application because I thought it was weird if I reused it. I don't know. I just felt like I grew during that time, and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to actually like, I don't know. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to be like copy paste. Like, I don't know. It's just, and I did apply early decision. I know. I hear the boos already, but I was like, maybe they'll give me more money. And I honestly just wanted to go NYU. And in hindsight, I don't think that was smart. Again, I don't think binding yourself to like $2 is a good idea, but hey, it was my dream. And I got my results back, and I actually like got my results back during work, but I was like, I'm not gonna check it because if I cry here, everyone's gonna see it, and I'm not really prepared for the embarrassment just yet. So I went ahead and I checked after I got home, and I see that I got in, and I saw that welcome to the class of 2024. Even number, welcome to the class of 2024. I went ahead, after me annoying them like 80,000 times about my like poorness, I thought they were like, this the poor girl, like reject her. So I was surprised, and I actually got more money that time. I got $37,000 in scholarship, which was a lot better in my opinion. Like, I thought that was like a good chunk of it. It was a journey. It was literally a journey. I don't know if they compared my applications, in all honesty. I feel like they did, just to see if I did anything during gap year, and I luckily did. If I like didn't do anything, I feel like I would have gotten rejected. But that's how I got into NYU a second time. So now I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you a rundown of my applications, the logistical side from both years. So I'm going to start with my high school years. My high school senior year, I'm going to go ahead and tell you my GPA and all of that. My GPA was a 3.521 unweighted on a 4.0 scale. So it wasn't that bad. I think it was lower than the average. And the average, I believe, is a 3.7 at the time that was unweighted. I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to do research on that. Like, imagine just, like, walking around with your high school transcript and being like, look how many AP classes I took. So embarrassing. My weighted GPA was a 4.321. So it wasn't that bad. I took all honors and AP classes. I don't think I took a regular class in high school. And then my class rank was 112 out of 390 students. So that's about 28 percentile. Not bad. So in total, I took 7 AP classes. I took AP US History. I took AP Stats, AP Bio, AP Lit, AP Lang, AP Psych, AP Gov. That's the last one. So I took all those AP classes. I actually took AP Physics for like 3 weeks of my senior year, and then I cried to get out of it because it was too hard for me. I really suck at anything like with math in it. It stinks in general. But speaking of that, if you're wondering about my grades in general, you know my GPA, but I did have C's on my transcript. And I also had a D. Hold on. Yes, I know. Wow. Look at this girl. My C's were in math. I'd have all A's except one C, and that was always in math. I still took honors math and AP math, but I got a few C's on my transcript because of math, starting my junior year to my senior year, and then my last semester of school, my senior year, I got a D in AP Stats. I know. I'm surprised I didn't get rescinded for that. I didn't try to get a D at all. I actually thought it was going to be higher because I kind of tried, but I ended up getting a D. So if that makes you feel better, yay, because I wasn't a straight A student. I had an okay GPA, both weighted and unweighted, so I don't feel too bad about it. My ACT score, like I said before, I applied with a 25 ACT score my senior year. And then, let's see, my letters of recommendation, I had my film teacher write one, and then I also had my English teacher write one. So yeah, those two are my letters of recommendation. My film teacher, I feel like, was a stronger one because I'd known him for so long, and he picked me to do one of the competitions I was in. My activities my senior year. So I was part of a club called Skills USA. I was in that since my sophomore year. And then I got chosen my junior year and my senior year to go to the competitions for digital cinema. And my junior year, I got 5th place for digital cinema for Nevada, so that's not bad. So I did include that in my application. I also had my films chosen at the time 3 times for the All-American High School Film Festival, and one of my films actually was a finalist for Best Female Rising Star, so that was pretty cool. I added that in my application. I also did community service for this one foundation, prevented sex trafficking, and kind of like a women's help center for them. So I did a video for them to show at their gala. I included that in my application. I also included my Scholastics Award for one of my films, and I got an honorable mention for that, so I included that as well. And then I also added some of my film awards in my actual school itself. Some won for different categories, so best cinematography, best avant-garde film, whatever. So I included some of the smaller awards in there too. So yeah, that was pretty much generally my senior year portfolio put together. I will read my essays later on, but those were my more logistical, holistic side of my application. So 2 years later, I got into NYU again, but this time my things kind of have changed. So obviously my my transcript couldn't change, so I did apply with the 3.521, 4.3 2-1 again, same thing. I did apply with my 26 ACT score, like I said before, this time. And then I did I didn't take my film teacher's recommendation again because I felt that one was really strong. I didn't read it, but I felt it in my heart that it was really strong, and like totally like gave the vibe that I was a great student or whatever. But anyways, now what changed, however, was the fact that I did do stuff during my gap year that I will add. So my senior year, after I got into NYU the first time, I actually went to competition again, and I won gold with my partner for digital cinema that time. So gold for Nevada, yay, go Nevada. So I went ahead and I put that on my application. So when you win gold for Nevada, actually, you get to go to nationals. So I went ahead and went to nationals in Louisville, Kentucky with my partner. And in nationals, you get to compete with all the gold medalists from the United States. So we went ahead and we actually won gold nationally for digital cinema. So I included that national award on my application as well. I also added another thing. I had a job at PBS at the time, so a job as an intern. I added that to my application because I felt that was relevant enough, and I thought that was pretty cool to add, and it showed that I had working skills. So I went ahead and added that. I also had a job. I showed on the news a couple of times on the local news, which was pretty cool to do, actually. That was a cool experience. So I talked on the news a couple times because I felt I was worthy enough like to be chosen to go on the news. So I went ahead and added that. I thought that was cool. And then I added whatever I had beforehand my senior year so that everything kind of like compiled all together. So I felt that was like good in that sense. I had more of a well-rounded application at that time, and I felt like that was strong enough. So yeah, that was pretty much both years my holistic kind of application. So money-wise, we're speaking about, you know, the hustle, financial aid. So I got, obviously, when I got to NYU Shanghai, like I said before, I got $25,000 in scholarship money. In the package, it also included the Pell Grant because I qualified for the Pell Grant, and I got qualified for the loans, and I don't really count the loans. So $25,000 plus $6,000, $31,000 is how much I got in total for NYU Shanghai. The Pell Grant, FAFSA, the government gave it to me, so I wouldn't count that as NYU money. But I only got $25,000 from NYU. So obviously the next time I applied and got to NYU New York, I got $37,000 for as a scholarship money. Plus I got this other one called Global Pathway Scholarship. That's what it's listed in NYU Albert. So I went ahead and I got $1,200 for that one. And that was the general gist of it, not including loans or anything, not including the COVID grants that were given to us during that time, or scholarship appeals. Scholarship appeals you'd have to apply to after your first semester, so I didn't include that. Obviously, it's not part of the package. So $37,000 plus $1,200 plus my Pell Grant. So that's how much I got for that year. I'm going to go ahead and read my essays from both years. I did not, like I said before, I didn't copy and paste. I wrote it completely different. They were different essays at the time because they kind of reflected me differently because I had grown, especially from the trauma of living literally as a poor person. Thank you so much for listening to like this crazy story. I know it's insane to hear like my life at that point, but I did persevere through it, you know what I mean? Like I do go to NYU now, even though it's online. It literally stunk because like I was like, yay, I'm going to New York, and then like COVID happened and I was like, never mind, like I'm trying so hard to get there and I'm still not there, but I will get there eventually. So yeah, you know what, happy ending. I guess main characters do get a happy ending or whatever. That's annoying. But I did end up going to NYU and I actually am really enjoying it, even though I'm not on campus. So yeah, happy ending for all. I really hope you learn from my mistakes. Loans, CSS profiles, starting last minute or whatever. Please do your research, and I wish you all good luck on your applications if you're applying, especially to NYU. And yeah,